Hello everyone, good evening. I'm Shreya Dhoundial, and what can I say except that the Shirtless Showdown is now a full-scale riot. Early this morning, ladies and gentlemen, at 4:30 a.m., when the world slept, the Delhi police was hard at work. It went right ahead and arrested the Youth Congress chief Uday Bhanu Chib. Amongst other things, they have accused him of being the mastermind of the shirtless protest. They have accused him of providing logistics and funds to the Banyan Brigade. And ladies and gentlemen, and they have also accused Bhanu of trying to incite a riot. A riot? Well, it sure was a mindless protest, but certainly not a riot. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you pick up any dictionary, it will tell you that a situation turns into a riot if there is violence involved. Now, I agree that seeing 10 not very fit men take off their shirts is an assault on our senses, not to mention embarrassing for our country. But it certainly is not a riot. Anyhow, the court has sent the Youth Congress chief to 4 days of police custody, taking the total number of arrests in the case now to 8. The Congress has called this anarchy by a compromised PM. Rahul Gandhi in Bhopal asked his quote-unquote Babbar Shers not to be scared by the BJP government's vindictiveness.
नरेंद्र मोदी बच नहीं सकते हैं, उनको कोई शक्ति नहीं बचा सकती है अब। और आखिरी बात मैं कहना चाहता हूं, हमारे जो यूथ कांग्रेस के बब्बर शेर हैं, हमारे यूथ कांग्रेस के लोग, हमारे कार्यकर्ता, बब्बर शेर, आप किसी से नहीं डरोगे, आप किसी से नहीं डरोगे।
हमारी पार्टी ने, हमारे कार्यकर्ताओं ने ब्रिटिशरों को भगाया, आजादी ली। अरे तुम तो डरपोक लोग सरेंडर हो गए थे, तुम आरएसएस वाले सरेंडर हुए थे।
Now, ladies and gentlemen, when the initial pictures of the Youth Congress workers storming the AI summit had come in on Friday, the party wasn't quite sure how to react. After all, the grounds for their protest were flimsy, and it was clear as daylight that they wanted to steal the limelight from the Prime Minister. Even their own allies had said that the protest at an international summit was simply uncalled for. After all, this was not a Modi summit, this was an India summit. And if unemployment was the push for the protest, the question being asked today is, where was the Youth Congress and their Banyan Brigade when job aspirants hit the streets in Karnataka today, demanding that 3 lakh government jobs, vacancies that are lying vacant right now, they be filled by the government? Well, there was no answer to that, but the Congress is not just fully backing the actions of its Youth Congress and its shirtless squad, but is also saying that we will see more of these protests. The Congress is asking if India has become North Korea, where protests are banned. In response, one BJP leader accused the Congress of preparing a suicide squad to defame India.
बहुत शर्म की बात है कि ये शांतिपूर्ण आंदोलन करने में भी आपको परेशानी होती है, तानाशाह को परेशानी होती है। तानाशाह को किसी ने आईना दिखाया तो वो उसको जेल डाल देगा। हम ये जानना चाहते हैं कि क्या पुलवामा के आतंकी सारे गिरफ्तार हो गए? क्या पहलगाम हमले के सारे आतंकी गिरफ्तार हो गए? क्या लाल किले ब्लास्ट के सारे आतंकी गिरफ्तार हो गए? एक टी शर्ट उतारने से आप इतना डर जाते हो, देश में आतंकी हमले हो जाते हैं और आप गिरफ्तारी नहीं कर पाते हो। ये इस सरकार की असलियत है।
जब बिल्ली के भाग से छीका नहीं फूटा तो बिल्ली जो है वो खिसियानी बिल्ली खंबा नोचने लगी। और आप जो है वो इस तरह की मार्शल आर्ट की जो टकसाल में मंदबुद्धि जो है वो टट्टुओं की टीम तैयार करने में लगे हैं, और ऐसी टट्टुओं की टीम जो आत्मघाती दस्ता बन करके भारत को बदनाम करने, भारत के खिलाफ षड्यंत्र और साजिशों के सूत्रधार बनने की कोशिश करे, तो उसको कभी आप जो है वो जस्टिफाई नहीं कर सकते।
उन्होंने क्या गलत किया? क्या इस देश में शांतिपूर्ण ढंग से प्रदर्शन करना गलत है? अगर हमारा देश लोकतंत्र है तो शांतिपूर्ण ढंग से प्रदर्शन किया जा सकता है। शायद वो भूल जाते हैं कि हम महात्मा गांधी की, नेहरू की, सरदार पटेल की कांग्रेस है। हम शांति भी चाहते हैं और हम सोती हुई सरकार को जगाना भी जानते हैं।
भारत को शर्मिंदा करने के लिए और बदनाम करने के लिए साजिश रची थी। ये राहुल गांधी कर रहे हैं देश को शर्मिंदा। कुछ समय पहले तक तो आप
नौटंकी करते हुए मोहब्बत की दुकान बता रहे थे। मैं मोहब्बत की दुकान लगाऊंगा। अब मोहब्बत की दुकान में नंगाई और बेशर्मी का सामान रखा हुआ है।
The whole world will appreciate India that here we have space for democracy, we have space for dissent. So it's not a matter of shame, it's a matter of pride. We may dislike. No protest is easy. No protest is something we like. In fact, all protests, if they want eyeballs, you would not be here interviewing me if it was a mild protest some 300 kilometers away from Delhi. So all protests are meant to catch the eye of the people. And that is an integral part of democracy. What is happening now is vendetta, it is vengeance, and this is North Korea style of response which will bring international shame to India.
राहुल गांधी जी, आपके कार्यकर्ता ये बब्बर शेर नहीं, ये नेशनल शेम है। इन्होंने एक शर्टलेस टॉपलेस एक्ट नहीं, शेमलेस कैरेक्टरलेस और लॉयल्टीलेस एक्ट किया है। बीजेपी के विरोध में उतरते उतरते देश के विरोध में उतर गए।
मैं समझती हूँ कि जय मेरे बेटे ने जो कहा कि हम गांधी के मार्ग पर भी चलते हैं और जरूरत पड़ी तो हम भगत सिंह भी बन सकते हैं, तो मुझे उस पर गर्व है। उसने ऐसा कहा। उन्होंने कोई गुनाह नहीं किया है जिन्होंने प्रोटेस्ट किया है, और उन्होंने कोई अपने लिए प्रोटेस्ट नहीं किया, देश के लोगों के लिए, देश के किसानों के लिए प्रोटेस्ट किया है।
अब जो है वो आपने जिस तरह का आतंक किया, जिस तरह की अराजकता की, जिस तरह की उद्दंडता की और विदेशी मेहमानों के सामने भारत को बदनाम करने की षड्यंत्र साजिशें की, तो ये तो संभव नहीं है कि जो प्रशासन और पुलिस है वो ये कहे कि आपने बहुत महान काम किया, बहारों फूल बरसाओ मेरा महबूब आया है।
Ladies and gentlemen, the fireworks over the summit clash are unending and escalated over the weekend as Rahul Gandhi attended the Northeast Music Festival and the Prime Minister in Meerut said stuff not exactly music to the Congress's ears. Well, politicians will do what they do, but has the Delhi police gone overboard when they slap a case of rioting against the Youth Congress chief who was not even present at the venue? Is this now, ladies and gentlemen, vendetta playing out, or is this the law of the land that is being followed? That's my question this evening as we see those pictures that came in to us over the weekend. Shazia Ilmi, spokesperson of the BJP, national spokesperson of the BJP. Hi, Shazia, good evening. Professor Jyotsna, good to have you back on the show, national spokesperson of the TDP. Good evening to you. Both ladies on the same team today. Advocate Ashpreet Khadial, spokesperson of the Congress Party. Hi, Ashpreet, good to have you on the show. And Imran Ahmed Ali, lawyer, political analyst, joining us on the broadcast. Will be batting on behalf of Team Congress. Shazia Ilmi, to start with, look, even I say that the protest that happened on Friday at the AI summit was completely mindless. It was senseless, it was mindless, it also embarrassed the country. But this certainly was not a riot. It was a stupid protest, but not a riot. Is the Delhi police now on the path of vendetta when they are accusing Bhanu of trying to incite a riot and slapping very serious charges against him?
Good evening, Shreya and all my panelists and all the viewers who are watching this program. You know, I cannot understand and even fathom as to how Rahul Gandhi can be allowed to get away with it. Instead of a party expelling him for masterminding something as shameless, brazen and anti-India as what transpired that particular day. People are wondering where police is actually filing a case against them. What do you think was happening? What do you think was happening at a program which was an Indian program, not a BJP program? Clearly, Rahul Gandhi is trying to incite youngsters, masses, and trying to create some kind of an animalistic toolkit to unleash riots, protests, and destabilize India. Just before this, he met the farmers, and though he knows very well that the entire Indo-trade deal, maybe he doesn't know because I don't trust his intelligence or comprehension, but if the whole world knows that the India-trade deal is so good for farmers and for all of India, actually, coming down from 50 to 18%, and all that is stressed on. But he still wants to incite the farmers. Which kind of a person does that? We know what's happening in the neighboring countries. Do we want India to go the same way? And so it's very dangerous what he's doing. And this is nothing, I think they should be very tough. And I hope the courts, after all the evidence that is brought in, and also the statements when Rahul Gandhi brazenly is saying, "वो मेरे Babbar Sher हैं." will take cognizance of this.
No,
And
a
also
couple
shows
of
that
things.
Rahul Gandhi...
Shazia, again, okay, I hear you. I hear you. Those are arguments that have been made since Friday. My simple point today is...
Pure evil.
My simple point today is, a protest is a protest. It was the wrong thing to do at the wrong place to do. But it was, after all, a protest. And no one was harmed in the protest. There was no violence. Therefore, my question remains, do serious charges of rioting apply, or is this now vendetta playing out? That is my simple limited point today. Ashpreet Khadial, would you want to come in? Also, on the point of our trade treaty being so great, if our trade treaty was so great, Shazia, then the government would not have put our trade team's US visit on hold. Just saying. Anyhow, go ahead, Ashpreet.
That has nothing to do with it.
Thank
That
you.
has
If
nothing
I may-
to do with it. There
if
is
I
an
may
Indian
now-
US statement that makes things amply clear. So nothing is on hold. It's just that we are waiting after the ordinance is signed. There are protocols, but we stand by it completely. And there is a statement, a joint statement, which puts a seal on it. So there is no issue with the trade deal. I think it's brilliant and it's pro-India. And that's exactly the problem Rahul Gandhi has, because
Mr.
he's
Khadial
working
come in,
against
please.
the interests of India.
Mr. Khadial, just on the point, please, I don't want to speak of the trade treaty right now. I just want to speak about Bhanu being arrested and writing charges being slapped against him. Look, the fact is that he is the chief of the Youth Congress. And if the Youth Congress goes and does this nautanki, he will be held liable. So he's being called the mastermind of the conspiracy. But do you agree with the writing charges?
Thank you, Shreya, for the question. Kindly allow me a minute and a half uninterrupted. I'll answer all your questions. First and foremost, Article 19(1)(a) is freedom of speech and expression. The right to peacefully protest is a fundamental right under it. And the Bharatiya Janata Party has always been against protests. They have always been against dissent. For them, the D for dissent does not exist. The D for democracy does not exist. Why does the Bharatiya Janata Party not look at their own protests that they have done back in the day? And the things that have been done, the things that have been said, if I were to play out those videos, it would be embarrassing for the Bharatiya Janata Party to defend it. But my request is that Mr. Modi has been making a lot of statements about this issue. Otherwise, when it came to Manipur, he did not utter a word. When Donald Trump was saying that he got a ceasefire done, he did not utter a word. When Donald Trump was saying he agreed to buy oil from US and Venezuela, he did not rebut. He did not say a word. But here Mr. Modi has spoken, and now our national president has been arrested. Shreya, he was not even present at the spot. He was not even there. Yet, a 4-day police custody was sought. A police remand was sought to recover what? I, being a lawyer, will tell you something. Bail is the rule and jail is an exception, is what the courts say. Now, here in this case, all those persons there were empty-handed. They were not carrying anything. They were unarmed. What do you want to recover? T-shirts. That is what you want to recover. And from whom? From somebody who was not even present. The Bharatiya Janata Party is trying to convey a message here that if you protest against us, if you have a difference in opinion, we don't care if the democracy is of the people, for the people, by the people, we'll make it of the BJP, for the BJP, by the BJP, and punish you. We'll slap charges against you. We'll throw you behind bars. We'll not let you get bail. We'll concoct stories against you. That is what the BJP is all about.
Mr. Khadial, what did you expect? If you are in charge of the Youth Congress and 10 Youth Congress people show up, decide to strip at an international convention and hold protests, what did you expect the Delhi police to do? Did you expect them to offer you mohabbat ka sharbat? Nahi na.
Number one.
Charges to dalenge na wo aap pe. Ab writing ka charge may be a bit excessive. I may be inclined to agree with you there. But they will slap charges and they will seek an arrest. By the way, they had sought a 7-day custody. They've got a 4-day custody.
Please, exactly. Now, Shreya, I'll answer your question because you asked me to stick to this specific issue. I'll stick to it. Unlike the Bharatiya Janata Party, I'll not divert, dodge and deflect. I'll stick to this issue. And let me answer one thing. Rioting. BJP needs to look at the definition of rioting. Rioting cannot be done like this. Please understand what rioting is. And this is the Bharatiya Janata Party's modus operandi. Okay. If anyone speaks against them, criticizes them for whatsoever reason, even if they have done a blunder, even if they have failed massively, they will act against you. They'll slap charges. They'll do an FIR. They'll make sure you do not get bail. They'll make sure that you get thrown into police custody, a police remand for what? How can a person riot when he is not even present at the spot? There's a plea of alibi. There's a plea of alibi.
No,
he could not
the charge is attempt to incite a riot. They are not saying he He was there and started a riot. The charge is attempt to incite a riot. Professor Jyotsna, would you want to come in here? It was a question that was asked rhetorically by the advocate of Bhanu, who stepped out after, having lost his case today and said, what is this? For wearing a t-shirt or removing a t-shirt and protesting, now you need to go to jail for a sustained period of time and you will not even get bail. And he then rhetorically asks, is this North Korea or is this India?
Shreya, just one request. They haven't been able to nab Vijay.
Ek minute. This question was for Professor Jyotsna.
Just one last line, please. They have not been...
Shreya, my point, my points are very simple here and I think everybody can understand it. First and foremost, जो मंच की बात कर रहे हैं, that platform where this particular event has happened is not a protest ground, no? It's a global summit. It's where we exhibit our intelligence. It's where we exhibit our strength. It's where we exhibit our technology. It's where we say that this is how India is and this is where India is prospering. अरे झगड़ा करना है तो घर के अंदर झगड़ा करेंगे ना श्रेया, है कि नहीं? You don't go out and fight in the street out there. Right? Let everybody know that you are fighting inside your house. That's simple common sense, first and foremost. And second thing is definitely one thing is conspiracy doesn't always require physical presence, Shreya. It doesn't. Your planning matters. Definitely matters. And here, my point is it's not a candle march. For heaven's sake, it's not a candle march that they have done. It's a security breach at a global summit. They have taken proper entrance inside with the QR codes. So without planning, can this happen? They have carried those t-shirts inside. Without planning, can this happen?
But Professor Jyotsna, you're saying this
I
is a
think
security
we all
breach.
have to think from that perspective also. One minute.
Security breach kaise?
My point is,
they were not attempting to kill anyone, murder anyone, harm anyone.
Versus government. Don't put it that way. It is dignity versus disruption. और एक और बात, ये आज लोग आके बोल रहे हैं बब्बर शेर है, मगर पूरा देश आज बोल रहा है बब्बर शेर नहीं है. You have actually, it's a national shame to all of us. They all have to understand that. Politics sometimes has to be above everything for them. I believe that's what they are thinking. But for me, politics should always think of people, should always be a people perspective politics. And if they are calling them youngsters, these youngsters have lost literally their career today. Isn't it? All these 10 or 9 people who were there have
I'm not sure if they've lost their career.
Have they not lost their
I'm not sure if they've lost their career.
Why should they lose?
I didn't know who Uday Bhanu was till the Youth Congress decided to do what he did, or at least I certainly didn't know what he looks like. Now I know what he looks like. The charge being made is, this is the government. So I think they've achieved whatever their agenda was, it has been achieved. But anyhow, the charge that is coming, Professor Jyotsna, from the Congress party is, you are trying to intimidate us and we will not be scared.
Shreya, can I answer this?
Yes, please.
Yeah, my point is, I have one more question for the Congress. Today they are talking so much about the global summit and what the बहुत बड़ा तमाशा they have done, and they are actually celebrating it. My point is, when we are talking here in a state ruled by Congress, journalists like you have been arrested today. Do you know that, Shreya? Journalists like you have been arrested today because they were trying to actually go and just shoot what these people were doing. They were actually demolishing houses of 1,000 poor people in Khammam district.
Okay.
And journalists who just went to cover that particular event were arrested and put behind bars. Now tell me, ये कहाँ की राजनीति है? ये कहाँ की डेमोक्रेसी है? अब तेलंगाना में तो इनका सरकार है. ये कहाँ की राजनीति है? ये कहाँ की डेमोक्रेसी है? कौन सा कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इनको ये राइट देता है? जर्नलिस्ट को रोकने का राइट कौन सा कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन देता है? अगर आप फ्रीडम ऑफ एक्सप्रेशन की बात करते हो तो डोंट जर्नलिस्ट के पास वो राइट नहीं है. आप गलत कर रहे हो उसको.
Essentially you are telling me, essentially your argument is that the Congress doesn't have any right to call the BJP intolerant because they are intolerant too. I think we can all agree that when a subject or a subject at hand doesn't suit them, all political parties become intolerant. But Imran Ahmed Ali, please help me understand this. For the first, I think, 15 hours or so after those protests, The Congress didn't know what to do because there was no official reaction coming from them. It was the Youth Congress that was left to defend themselves. I want to ask you why Rahul Gandhi is now going out on a limb defending what honestly is the indefensible. Now, you're a lawyer as well. You can come in on the riots point and say that this is excessive action by the Delhi police, which is being, more loyal than the king, etc., etc. But honestly, these arrests are expected. If you go to an international summit, you create hangama there, you do tamasha there, the police will not give you red roses for Valentine's Day. They will arrest you and put you behind bars.
Shreya, I'd just like to start by saying that in trying to showcase the future, the current government has shown the inability to manage the present. You asked a very specific question right at the beginning, is this rioting or not? And I will read out the BNS provision section 191 rioting. Whenever force or violence is used by an unlawful assembly or by any member thereof in prosecution of common object of such assembly, every member of such assembly is guilty of the offense. The key words here are force or violence. Is this rioting? No, it is not. The second question, when constitutionally there is a right to protest, in trying to protect the optics that were shown by the Chinese robot, by founders telling us that their technology was stolen when they were shunned out of the event, when there were serpentine lines, when ministers have come out and apologized for lack of mismanagement, you try and spin this around and blame it on the Congress. And mind you, the protest did not happen on the first day. Let me go back to Professor Jyotsna. She said there was a security breach. A security breach, is this an admission that there was a lack of management? If you were trying to say that these people entered without permission, whose fault was it? If these delegates, if these founders, if the attendees were at risk, do you acknowledge the fact that there was actually security breaches? Third, when we talk about arresting the man who was not present at the spot, what does the police say? They want to recover T-shirts from Himachal. Can you believe this? And what are you trying to show? You want to talk about AI, but you're trying to show the world that this is how we curb dissent. This is how in a protest, and mind you, I agree with you. The shirtless, I mean, I'm not somebody who would have also wanted to see those men shirtless. However, I might disagree, but do I disagree that they don't have the right to protest?
Arey bhaiya, they have the right to protest.
Again, going back
but they could have protested outside the venue.
Was this a protest?
Hai na? A protest has to achieve something. What has it achieved? Negative headlines. Almost no one, including the Congress's own allies, are supporting you. Acha, not only were the protests senseless, they also clearly had no strategy. You have just pointed out a list of things that the Congress party and the India bloc could have targeted the government with. There was bad management. Is anyone denying that? No one is denying that. You couldn't make UPI payments. There were not enough toilets. Even drinking water was a problem. And then, of course, there was the Golgotian exaggeration. Hai na? So you had a list of things you could have attacked the government with, but you went ahead and did something as senseless and stupid as that. That is my limited point. But Shazia Ilmi, again, go ahead. Again, coming back to the point of riots. How is this trying to incite a riot? Na gun hai unke paas, na danda hai unke paas. You know, they have nothing except white T-shirts with Prime Minister Modi printed on them. This was not trying to incite a riot. The Delhi police has been a little enthusiastic when it comes to slapping charges against the Youth Congress chief.
So 2-3 things, and I want to comment on all the things that have been made. It being called a security breach is an admission of the fact that Congress party indeed is a security threat. Look how riled up they got when Kiran Rijiju ji called them a security threat. So they're admitting that if there was indeed a security breach, so people come, they have a barcode and they come in. If they want to remove T-shirts, I mean, you know, they just embarrass themselves. It's like you cut your nose to spite your face. So they have brought themselves down besides trying to embarrass India. Second thing, I heard a lot of balderdash, as I call it. You know, I was part of the Anna movement and Nirbhaya movement. We were beaten up mercilessly. And the same, and then comes Modi regime, and what happened? There was a huge protest on CAA. Nobody stopped it. There was a huge movement on farmers. In fact, people said, why did this government allow them? but there was full, complete movement and protest which went, and there was a cases in the court against what it led to. So I think a person here who represents the Congress clearly doesn't know about his party and what has transpired. So please don't give me this. And third, about Galgotia, you keep saying it's a private university and they've been punished. They've got to stall.
But some due diligence should have been done. It's a Government of India event. As someone said, even when you call a Bhelpuri wala for your party, you at least do some due diligence ki bhai cleanliness hai ya nahi hai. This is one of the largest stalls, one of the largest exhibitors at the event. At least there is some due diligence that was required, but I won't blame the government 100% for the lies that Galgotia said. But anyhow, I'll give the last word to Ashpreet Katyal. Ashpreet Katyal, last word to you. Even there are members within your own party who are uncomfortable with what has happened. You know, we have now the luxury of perspective. The Congress party has the luxury of perspective. Are you now willing to admit today, I know your leader is not, but are you now willing to admit today that these people on Friday did nothing that makes them resemble a Babbar Sher? I wonder why Rahul Gandhi keeps calling them a Babbar Sher. You can't become a Babbar Sher by taking out your t-shirt. No?
Shreya, number one, you will see that these cases will fall apart. They won't stand a chance in the courts. You'll see that. Number two, my request to the Bharatiya Janata Party is that the amount of focus you show to political vendetta, if 10% of that focus you would utilize to, better the law and order of the country, better the economy of the country, I think we'll be in a much better situation. Number two, the Bharatiya Janata Party wanted to divert attention from a couple of issues on that very day when the entire issue was brought up by the Bharatiya Janata Party. Bill Gates pulled off. NVIDIA's
you gave them the opportunity. You gave them the opportunity.
One second.
It was lack of foresight on your part, on your party's part, of course, not your part.
The BJP did not want to talk about why Bill Gates pulled off at the last moment. NVIDIA's Wang pulled off. The Bharatiya Janata Party's leaders do not want to talk about the
Everyone would have wanted to talk about it. But look what the Congress did, or at least the Congress Youth Brigade did.
Media was full with one thing. I'd request just 10 more seconds. Social media was flooded with memes. How Mr. Modi was laughing at the jogging statement. How the reluctant
Ashpreet Katyal, ab ye sab bolne ka koi fayda nahi hai. You can't say that the BJP tried to divert attention. You gave them the opportunity. And this was too delicious an opportunity to miss.
How the big tech giants were reluctant for the arm raising. Everybody saw that as well. They did not want to talk about this. They did not want this discussed. Ashwini Vaishnaw, their minister, was seen promoting Chinese products. Is it Make in India or is it Atma Nirbhar or China Pe Nirbhar? Why these Chinese products were being showcased? The Bharatiya Janata Party does not want to take accountability, responsibility. The Bharatiya
and
Janata
you don't want to take accountability and responsibility for what happened. आपने देखिए embarrass तो किया ना. Social media पे जाके you're talking about social media. Social media पे जरा जाके देख लीजिए what is happening.
Nobody did
are we being ridiculed and embarrassed for this protest? Yes, we are being ridiculed and embarrassed for this protest. But anyway, one Congress, one BJP neta is actually calling the Banyan Brigade a suicide squad. I'm afraid that's crossing the line, but anyhow, that is something for the BJP and the Congress to fight about. My question still remains, ladies and gentlemen, what happened on Friday was simply uncalled for, but does it call for charges of rioting to be put against the Youth Congress and its chief? That is a question we tried to get an answer to today. You've heard all sides. I will not spoon feed you. You can make up your own minds. I'll quickly slip into a break. There's more on the other side. Do stay with us.